Okay, I've got another great tutorial, a winter sowing tutorial for you today on sugar snap peas. Before we dive into that, I can't wait to show you. There's a sneak peek. I have two messages for you. First, if you want to learn the winter sowing method, also known as the mini greenhouse method of growing your seedlings in the cold snow or just even cool weather, make sure you drop down in the description and join our Facebook group, Winter Sowing Vegetable Gardening with Cheryl. So make sure you do that and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see when videos are coming out. Let's dive into sugar snap peas. I am in love with these. They are so sweet. You eat the entire pod with the peas in them, and they are just really great treats. Most of the time, mine don't even make it into the house. I love them so much. And I also grow them all summer long. This is March 10th, 2016, and I'm just in the middle of my winter sowing. And every one is a little bit different. I just did a video on tomatoes, peppers, and tomatoes. They're planted just about the same. And I just did one on cilantro, completely different winter sowing method. And then here are the snap peas. And then I'm going to do watermelons next. So first off, here are the peas that I saved from my garden last year. Now, you want to make sure and always grow more than you need so you can let it go to seed. Actually, you just take some of the actual pods and let them completely dry out on the vine. And I'll have other videos on how to save these seeds. Oh, just dropped them. You focus there for you. I'll have other videos on how you save them, but you just really open up the pods, take out the peas, and that is your seed, the pea. Okay? I have two others that I'm going to be growing. This is by the Botanical Interest, and then I usually don't get that many burpee seeds, but I found a really good deal, like over half off, and those are Sugar Daddies, and these are Cascadias, just slightly different varieties of the snap pea. So what I do is I'll be putting these in now mid-March. I'll be putting out every 2 weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks, all summer long, and they will keep growing. And I've grown them in full sun, and I've grown them in almost full shade. And they do well in both. I'm trying to decide which they do better in. They really have done, these are so hardy, they do well in just about every environment that you give them. So as I did with my peppers and tomatoes, sorry there's no tripod today, I'm trying to hold still. For this size container, what is that, about a half-gallon juice jug? And that one's a 2-liter soda pop. For this size container, I would just do 3. What'd I do over here? 3 as well. I could get away with 4, but I wouldn't just sprinkle them all over. Some people might like to do that. As always, I'll tell you, this is just how I do it. It is not the gospel. Everybody has their own way. This is just how I like to do it. So I would do 3, and then I would just take my little Sharpie pen, very technical instrument. It just has the perfect roundness. And just cover it. You only want to go about... this one would go a little deeper because it's a bigger seed. Twice the thickness, the height of the seed. I'm going to push that down a little bit. Cover it, push it down. Cover it. Now, the soil was already very wet down in my container. I put all my Happy Frog soil in the container and I pour a couple gallons of water in there till it's not drippy but just close. And then I put it wet in the container, and then I actually spray it before I put my seeds in. I've got a good sprayer, so I'll just spray the whole top before I put the seeds in. And then like right now, I'm going to actually get that moist. These, especially the peas, they're dry, right? They're dry peas. They love to be wet. They need to be wet. So I'm going to soak them before I cover them. I didn't with the other ones, but I will after we get off. And then I just give them a cover, give them a shove down. Boy, this uses a different part of your brain to look at the camera and have your hand planting, and you can't really see what your hand's doing. But I'm getting a little better at it. Okay, so they're covered right there. 3 in the container. Now, what am I going to do? My fourth watering. First was in the bucket, then was when I put them in, then when I put the seeds in, and now I just like to soak them in that soil, sink them in really well. And give them a good soak. Because remember, these are going to be sitting outside for maybe a couple months, depending on what time, whether you put them in January, February, or March. I'm kind of a March person. So you want them soaked because you don't want to have to water. And of course, if you're in a warmer climate and you need to water every day or every week, go ahead and water. But out here, it is so rainy in Ohio. The first year, I only had to water twice. in like 2.5, 3 months of the seedlings being in here. Last year I had to water more and I overwatered and got moss, but that's a whole nother story. So let me give these a good soak. Really soaking them in. Now, all I'm going to do is tape up, and I don't have any tape strips, but I usually line up my tape strips. Hi, babies. Oh, they're both there. See them, my boys? That's Charlie and Russell. Russell hurt his back a little bit. He's a punk today. Anyway, I put all the strips of tape down here ahead of time, which I forgot, so then I don't have to get my hands all messy all over the tape and everything. Oh, and this is a really good cutter for plastic and tape, and I'll have a link underneath for you. I just discovered it. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll just close this up. I'm hitting my light here. Close this up. Put tape around, starting at the middle and wrapping around both sides. Make sure you put your plant label, where are my labels? Inside. Always label inside, because sometimes what you write outside will get lost or faded, scrubbed off in some way. Always have one inside. And then tape it up and put your label on the outside and you are good to go. Now, most people will say, well, these grow so fast, you don't need to bother with winter sowing. You absolutely will beat direct sowing with winter sowing. Meaning, if you walked out there right now, well, first off, it's mid-March. It's too soon for me to even plant these. We still could conceivably get another snow or another freeze. Very likely we will, even though it's been a freaky warm winter. So I don't want to put them outside quite yet, but putting them in here, I will absolutely get pea seedlings sooner than if I were to direct sow, which means just walking outside and putting the seeds in the soil in my big containers or in ground outside. Also, make sure you watch my video called, I changed the name on it. It used to be called Sugar Snap Peas, Bandits, Bamboozled, but I changed it to Stop Sugar Snap Pea Bandits Cold. In other words, lots of critters like to eat them. And I have this whole video on, I would come out and I'd get these seedlings and the pea would sprout and it would grow about this big, nice green, thick, healthy, beautiful seedling. And then I come out the next morning and someone pulled the whole thing out, laid it on the soil, and ate the pea and the root. They didn't like the green part on top. They didn't like the sprout, but they liked that big, soft, juicy pea and the root. And I think it's my chipmunks, my chippies. Some people say it's squirrels, but we have tons of chipmunks here. So I would come out like in tears and I'd see all these little carcasses of the dead sugar snap peas all over the soil, like literally one after another, and they ate all the peas and the roots. So I've come up with a solution. 100% success rate. Watch that video. I'll have a link below. Okay, we have fully covered sugar snap peas and winter sowing. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your gardening friends and your family and friends who might want to grow their own food. People think it's so hard. Let them know it's not that hard and it's free. These seeds were free. The ones I dropped on the floor, I'm going to have sugar snap peas for life, for free. Once I use up these seeds, I'll just save seeds every year and never have to buy them again. So don't forget, you're going to be a seed saver, even if it's intimidating. Grow more sugar snap peas than you think you need. And at the end of the season, you let them grow fully mature and crack them open, dry them until they're bone dry, not an ounce of liquid in them, and save your seeds. All right, this is Cheryl signing off for now, sending you much love from my garden, my sunroom, and my kitchen, depending on where I am. Today is my sunroom, and sending you much love. Take care. Bye-bye.